What if the greatest threat to your future isn't a lack of resources, but the sheer weight of everything you're still carrying? That's what we're talking about today. Welcome to Unfiltered, proudly in our prime with Renee and my dear friend Carolina. And we're going to delve into the hidden cost of carrying too much.
That's
It
right.
is it is a lot of weight, people, a lot of weight to carry. So Carolina, what's the first thing that popped into your mind when I surprised you with the title?
You know what is I like the cost of too much, is it, it is overwhelming how much junk, like you're carrying junk, you're storing junk and things that you haven't used in like a year. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Is yes, is there is a cost to not dealing with clutter and accumulation and emotional and physical baggage.
Well, and you, I mean, just in the process of getting, your house ready for sale, you've been forced into this time period of releasing and letting go of this excess stuff. And so did you find like there were some things that caused you to, you know what, I'm not ready to let that go, even though in the back of your mind, you're like, seriously, girl, I'm not going to use this again, but you just weren't yet ready to let it go.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was a lot of that. And she's laughing because she knows. There were, even things that, at least for me, is about processing. Like I need time to process, right? Especially when somebody else points something that I instinctively feels counterintuitive. And I do live by the ethos that, if I have to give you an answer on the spot, it's a no. Right? Like I do need time to process. So, there were like these two massive shelves in the dining room, right? That you, as my right sizing Sherpa, said to me, they gotta go, right? And my initial instinct was no, because they were, my son left them here, and he specifically said, I'm leaving these so you can put, you know what I mean? Like there was like something, right, that just felt wrong to just get rid of it, even though I know I have no room for it where I'm going, wherever that is. And it was until the painters were here that they moved them away from the wall. And then I was kind of able to see the wall without them, that I thought, those bookshelves do need to go. So, you
Mm.
know what I mean? And I was recently telling a friend, because he said to me, surround yourself with people that champion you, or some like sweet, aspirational thought. And I said to him, really surround yourself with people who are willing to change their mind,
Mm.
based on reflection and deliberation. And like, you don't want yes people, but you want people that would consider, right? That's all you ask. And I have to tell you, may I continue with my right
Absolutely.
sizing
Floor is yours.
experience? Well, so I tried to sell my house last year, for those following my saga, and it didn't work for many reasons, primarily me, that it was just not the right time, right? And so this time around, I was kind of bracing myself for it. Like I was like, even telling friends, like, I'm facing like the toughest March ever. And these were people that are like war veterans, right? So they're like looking at me like, seriously.
Perspective.
Any-
Yeah.
but anyways, so I was kind of like bracing myself, but I have to tell you, you okay, we're friends, we're collaborators and all that. So, I'm not being as a kissy bunny, but
But I've
you
only
have,
known you for 6 months. Like it's not like
no, it's
we're
been
dear
longer
friends
than that,
now.
darling. It's been
Oh,
longer than that now.
well,
But
oh,
anyways,
maybe
maybe more like
10 most.
9 months, something like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
your guidance has made all the difference in the world, because you speak my language. And I don't know if you do that for all your clients, that you're able to adjust, your shift gears depending on how they communicate. But for me personally, it felt like the minute that you put it under a project management framework, and it was like, okay, this is what we're doing, and these are the layers that it needs to happen in, and this is the schedule, and go, 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 go team, right? And you know what? It was a lot of work, but it wasn't overwhelming.
Ah,
It was
interesting.
not overwhelming in the
Mm,
least bit. And
because
it
we went
was,
at your pace. Like
well,
we gauged how well, personally speaking, I
yeah,
gauged
I don't know
how
what was happening in your brain. But
how
you
far I
were
could push
dealing
you,
with me.
right? Because I know, I get it. You've got a dog, you've got a business to run. You still want to have a life and sleep and all that. And so and you had a very, I want to be on the market on this day, people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
And when we first looked at it, it just looked like you want to do what? Because we're speaking of full rebranding, right? Like, and even when I sent the schedule to my son, and he knows me, right? And he's so sweet, he's so protective, and he was concerned. He's like, I don't think you can handle these. Like how are you doing these, right? But doing it strategically, really, I think honestly, everybody should do these once a year. It's almost like a detox. That's what
well,
it felt like.
it is. Well, and that goes back to the very first thing I said. The sheer weight of everything we're carrying is really what is our biggest danger to our health, to everything, to our survival. And I like the one thing you said, what I want to go back to is when you were like fighting me on the bookshelves for sure. The two big books. She stuck
Among
her
other things.
amongst other things. So let's just talk about that. She stuck her heels in the mud and said, I want to keep them. Okay.
No,
You know
they're
what?
not going.
They're hers, right? It's her house. What can I do? However, I love what you said when they were taken away and you actually saw it without. And I'm going through the exact same thing in my house. I saw this video, if you can believe it, on clearing clutter. It's like my favorite pastime.
Yeah.
And she stressed, and I forget her name, or I would say it, but I forget her name. Anyway, she stressed
We'll put
how,
it. We'll put the link in the description because
yes,
we'll want to know.
she just got a new house herself. Well, I don't know how old this video was. Anyway, but so she could start from ground zero. But she stressed keeping surfaces clear. I have become obsessed. I used to have, even in my kitchen, just a little plant. There's like this little piece of cupboard between the stove and the end of the countertop, right? And I just stuck a plant there. I took that away too. It was just a plant. I took that away too. And it is now just nothing on this. Well, when I'm clear, like when I'm, not doing dishes or after supper, obviously, right? But it's so soothing on the eye. Last night I did the bathroom countertop. The only thing on my bathroom countertop is that water pick thing by the outlet. Everything else has been, I found real estate in the drawers. Everything is now gone inside drawers, and clearing those surfaces, we don't have the bandwidth, people, to have excess clutter in our line of sight. We just don't, because we're bombarded every day with so much stuff.
And so,
Advertising,
yeah.
traffic, weather, people, conversations, decisions to make, right? So it's
Yeah.
just help your
And it's
brain.
fatigue, like I jokingly, well, half jokingly, I can't remember, you asked me why I was wear black. And I said to you is, well, many people, like including Steve Jobs, always wore the same top because he didn't have to think about it, right? Like, simple as that. And many high performers do that. Actually, is quite common. And to me, it is about decision fatigue, right? It's one less thing I need to worry about. It. I know I'm wearing black. Not to worry about it. It's just trying to find the black top I'm looking for among a closet full of black. So that brings another set of challenges. But it's just whatever we can do to minimize without going fully on autopilot, though. Like, our brain already goes on autopilot, right? That's why
It
we don't
has to.
think about driving anymore. We
Yeah.
just know how to do it, right? It becomes like, innate. And because otherwise your brain would be exhausted, right? If he has to remember everything all the time. So there's already a certain degree of biology that makes us go autopilot. But the less that you can, not, like you said, like over process. And funny enough, I saw there was some kind of like mini documentary or a podcast, sorry. This gentleman was speaking about AI in prompts. Yes, everything comes down to AI, like everything goes to decluttering for you. But he was speaking about how as a polite society, we are very polite to AI, to ChatGPT or to Gemini, and we'll ask, can you please write, can you please do? And what he was saying is that performance-wise, we're actually harming the process, because if we say draw a circle, then AI just hears 3 points, like draw a circle, right? Like three actions. If we go, can you please draw a circle for me, right? Now it has to process, can you please, like it has to process that much more to get to the point of what is it that you want. Although, it's nice that we're polite, especially, being Canadian,
Mhm,
we're
mhm.
the polite kind. It's not exactly the most efficient in what you're saying, like having all that clutter, even if, okay, maybe clutter is a little harsh, having that extra that we may think is not in the way, it's not whatever, but it is.
Mm. Well, let's go to the closet, because you just reminded me of something that I, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was listening to this woman talk about the season of life that she's coming into.
Mm.
And and that season is that she's about to become a dog owner. And I found it curious that one of the things that she talked about, that she's, I guess her dog arrives next week or something, her puppy. And so she's really starting to process how her world will be different with this puppy.
Mhm.
And one of the things is that she's going to have to walk the dog now daily, twice a day, whatever. And she started to think about, what am I going to wear when I walk the dog? Because her life used to be corporate. And so she started to think about the season she's in today, right? And the season she's in today is no longer going to visit clients and wearing nice clothes. The last couple of years of her life, she's now really doing online consulting. So she really only needs nice tops and just a few of them, right? So, but now she's thinking, what comfort clothes do I have that I can go out and, walk the dog? So she looked at her closet and she did a huge purge of clothes that
Wow.
were from a prior season of life. So it's about really, where am I going, right? What
And
is
am
my
I
life
still
today?
that person? Am I still that person? Right? Like
That's
allow your identity to evolve.
Well, and it comes right back to full circle, doesn't it? About, are we living in a museum of our past, right? We talked
Mm,
about that before, where everything around me has a memory and a story, but it's not in the thing, right? So we always
mhm.
think the memory's in the thing. One little and I don't think I shared this with you, Carolina, but
Oh,
maybe I did. I can't remember.
the
But
confidential.
I guess we just, my goal with you was purge, baby, purge as well, right? Because from a real estate perspective, we know that buyers, when they're looking into a home, either online or walking through the front door, if there's excess items around, and you'd be surprised how little is considered excess, right? But what
Mhm,
they see subliminally or subconsciously is a project. They don't see a blank canvas. So it's so
mm,
important to take so much away. What I didn't, I don't think, Carolina, suggest to you was something that we call a maybe box or a probation box. And that is, those items that you're like, put it in the box. No, I can't. Put it in the box is just to have, seriously, I mean, psychologically, a probation box. And
mhm.
you put those items in a box, you seal it, put tape on it. So what are we in March? You add 6 months, put it away. And if you haven't gone back to that box and put it in your calendar, okay, go check. It's October. Go check the box. If you haven't gone back to it, seriously, just put it in your trunk and take it to the Salvation Army. You don't need it.
Yeah, and a lot of cleaning service, like, if you have someone help you with your home, they will give you a recycling box, right? That, as that should be something in it all the
Did you
time,
say a
right?
cleaning service? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like if someone helps you clean your home, right? Like they usually will give you a donation or a recycling bin, like a mini, a little, for
Oh,
you to
never
use
heard that.
all the time. Like to make it like if you bring something into your home, something needs to go out. Put it in the
Oh,
bin,
I see
right?
what you mean.
Put
Yeah.
it in
Well,
the
yeah.
bin so that it becomes a part of your routine, right?
That's
That it and is top of mind. Like if the minute you're touching it or you realize you got two or three, or it's just no longer feels right, you put it in the bin,
yeah.
and then
That,
she'll
that
take it. She or he, it doesn't have to be a she, she'll
yeah.
take it weekly or bi-weekly, whatever cycle you've got.
So I have that exact same thing. I call it a donation box. I have it right
Yeah.
behind my door. And so it's funny. I do have a friend that visits often, and she's always going through, is there anything in here I want?
And you know what, there's those parties, I don't know if you've ever been to, I've never organized one, but I've been to them, and it was like a purse exchange party or a whatever party. And because you just get tired of it, or you have it and you haven't used it, in a year, really, you should find there's great, like either, if you're a lady, there's locally to us, there's Yellow Brick House that, is great for donating, like women, especially workwear that, people
Mhm.
in that are in a hard spot can certainly use it, like for job interviews and stuff.
Mhm.
And or doing those exchange part, like move it, don't grow attached to it, right?
Mhm.
And so what I found, now, this is a point of exploration, is that in my case right now, because I am excited that I'm going somewhere, right? So it's easy for me to visualize, okay, I'm going from a home to a condo. Really, like, who am I kidding? This cannot go, right? Like, it's so I'm seeing it through a different lens. If I were to stay here and this was just a spiritual, really, therapeutic process, I wonder whether my mindset would be different in
Mm.
being so generous, be willing to let it go.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I'll tell you, just now on this obsession I'm having of keeping all the surfaces clear,
Mhm.
it builds such momentum that I am just every drawer I open, but okay, that drawer's next. And you know what I'm doing this weekend? So I'm talking about momentum. It
Mhm.
starts when you start small and you start to, just as you said, take away a bookcase. Now that's huge, right? But take away, if you've got six
I got
things
rid
that
of my desk too, like that. In the reality is that I don't work from a desk,
well,
so I
that's why
have
you got rid of
this
your desk,
desk.
right?
That's why I'm behind people. Um, but but this is the thing, right? Like, and you said it. Well, you live it, that you turn your dining room into your office, right? It's like, nobody says that this room has to be this. You can use whatever room that will bring you the best experience and the best flow with your present reality.
Absolutely, you're right. And just like you said, you're coming into a season of condo living, right? And that's and having that filter on. I mean, that's a really wonderful way to base your decisions, your future decisions on your current decisions. And this weekend, I can't wait because I've gained a little weight, and I have decided that I'm going up to my closet, and I am taking any article that is two sizes smaller, and
Mhm.
it's going out. It's going bye-bye
Oh,
because I
wow.
don't, yeah, because I don't need, even if I do drop a few pounds, who cares? you know, I'm
But
not going to drop that much weight.
I'm loving how you're not putting that pressure on yourself.
What do
That
you mean?
that you're accept. You know what? I've gained a few pounds, and that's okay. It's
Yeah.
like if it doesn't fit, let it go. Instead of no, I'm going to get back in. You know what I mean? Like turn it into some kind of like negative for what? Like you're lovely. I would have never thought that you've gained weight, right?
Mhm.
Is that's such a positive reframing
Yeah.
in a positive attitude. That's brilliant. Good for you.
Well, and you know, who needs to be tortured when you open your closet, right? Like your closet is like any place in your home where we're wanting to get to is like, I feel supported here, right? Like
Mhm.
this is my happy place. Just like you said about, converting this dining room into my home office. It's my happy place. Well, most of the time.
I converted my kitchen into
Into a
my
spa.
wet bar into
No,
my office because I don't
what a
cook.
great idea. So, well, let's talk about the cost. Like one of the ways our sheer excess, and most of us have excess, is costing us. I was at a client's house the other day, and I kid you not, so we said to her, she's got a lot of stuff, and we said to her, start putting things in categories, okay? Because she's got,
Mm.
let's just say, a lot of stuff. Putting things in categories, and sure enough, and we said, get things off the floor. So I went to see her yesterday, the day before, and she said, look at this. And she had two identical blue tops, and
Oh,
one had a price tag still on it and one didn't. And she said, well, now at least I know which one I've worn.
she bought it. You know what? I bought the same book twice, more than once,
Ah, there you go,
and then
right?
realized it after. It's like, darn it, like I already had that book.
Must
But
have been a good
yeah,
read.
well, it's happened more than once, so it's got to do more with bad memory or
So then
impulsivity than anything else.
right. Well, and that's a monetary, like that's money going out the window, right? And you
Well,
talked about that earlier about buying excess that we don't need. Like what a
and there's
drain.
a quote that says, "Look around you. All these objects were once money, and before they were money, they were time. Because most
Exactly.
of us trade time for money, right? So now you're like throwing away all this excess that was once money, that was once time, right? So being more
And take that
mindful
one step further.
of
Yes,
yeah,
and now take that one step further. It's money now gone, right? And we've robbed ourselves of a potential experience, of a
yeah,
trip, if you start counting everything, right? And the
or
other
classes, or doing things that stimulate your mind and your spirit and your body, right?
being charitable, right? Like a lot of us, if we're stretched a bit thin, one place we stop giving is charity, right? And so, but again, if we stop bringing things into our home and just save that money, then maybe we could be a little more generous that way too. But there's also the tax, we call it the possession tax, and that is
Mm-hmm.
the bandwidth it takes to manage our stuff. And it's shocking.
Hmm.
They say on average, well, the average person on average spends get this, I don't know if I can believe this because it sounds a bit mind blowing, 2 hours a day managing stuff and managing stuff.
What?
I know that's 14 hours a week.
What do you mean managing stuff? Like moving
Mo-
things around?
Moving things around, finding where did I put this, because everything doesn't have its own place because there's too much stuff for having its own place. Finding stuff, insuring stuff, cleaning stuff,
Mhm.
um, you know, finding duplicates. I
Yeah.
had to go out and buy this other book because I couldn't find the same one that's, beside my bed, right? So
Do
it's
you remember when you were young and you used to buy more underwear because you didn't have time to do laundry? Did you ever do that? Like in university. Anyways, sorry, I
I
digress.
yes, I think I did that with pantyhose, but I don't know about underwear. But still, it's it's huge, this possession tax. So it's something that, again, unless you start to really sit and think about it, it's kind of crazy.
That is, yeah. You know what? I am so grateful. And I have to tell you, you have it's not just the thing people don't realize is it's not just you. Like you're the maestro. Like there's a whole team. Like it literally takes an entourage of people to do these. And I think I'm going to be doing it every single like spring or once a year to do a real audit. And it helps to have someone else do it with you. And I don't know if that
The
goes for
right
everyone.
person, the right person
Well,
though.
you're tough, but you're fair. Like you push and push, but yeah, you do. And well, all my friends are go-getters, right? So it wouldn't, it comes from everyone wanting you to do your best, but it's like it's good to be challenged and say why. Like I was telling even the stager, right? Poor lady, she probably has PTSD after dealing with me. She was putting floral stuff on the kitchen, and she knows, because we laughed about it after, right? And I like kind of, I must have just like had a look, right? And she's like, you don't like florals, do you? And I go, no. And she says, why? And I love the question, right? She said, why don't you like florals? And I'm not going to say why I don't like florals, because it's just a little too, it rhymes with itchy. But anyways, so I kind of explained my reasoning, right? And she was like, okay, fair enough, right? But it's good to be reminded of why you believe what you believe,
Well,
because
and it took you off autopilot so that you just, oh, well, let me
correct.
recheck if that's still a current belief or an outdated belief, you know?
Correct. And why is it, why why do I feel so strongly about it? Right? And to say it out loud, there is when somebody's guiding you through a right sizing or a decluttering, and they're saying they're like, it's not combative, it's they're just asking you, so why are we keeping this, right?
Yep.
And then you have to say it out loud, and you hear yourself in the
Mm.
logic behind it, right? There, I don't think you can. I mean, I'm sure you do, but in all your clients, I've read the testimonials that your clients, generously give about you and your team, and I could totally see it being a cathartic experience. Like, I'm a new woman
Well, no,
after
it's
going through
true.
that.
Well, and I hope that, when we get you to the promised land of your condo, that you say what, and don't break my streak of 100% pressure, but you say what everyone says. I wish I had done this sooner. Right
Yeah.
now, you're still young, and you may not.
Yes, that's me.
You'll say something like that, but it might not be exactly that. But one thing though is it takes a team for you, because you're in the process of right sizing to a new home, right? I mean, if you were just doing decluttering, I love what you said. Yes, have someone with you, because it is
Mhm.
that just that double checking and
It's
getting you off.
accountability. It's accountability when
Absolutely,
you're saying
without judgment.
well, yeah, I mean, they're professionals, right? Like, nobody, at least throughout this entire process, even last year, like no one's made me feel self-conscious about
No, but I
any,
mean, if you had a
right?
friend over, or a sister, or someone that you've invited into your home to help you
Mhm.
declutter your closet, right? I'm just be mindful who you invite, because it
Yes,
might not
yes.
be a good match. It could be
Or
an
you may
adult.
be stronger than them and you push back. And then they're like, okay,
Well,
right? They let you
it
off the
could
hook.
yeah, it could just spiral into something that, and we want to take the emotion out of it, right? So you just, again,
Yeah.
be mindful of who you invite into this process. If you're just doing it for the sheer value of creating a sanctuary for yourself and starting to get rid of excess. Now
And
let's talk
personal
quickly
growth.
about,
Mhm.
pardon,
The
let's
personal growth.
personal growth. And again, just getting the stress off your back, just
Mhm.
less to manage. Now let's talk about our adult kids. and the junk that they leave in our homes and why we're so reluctant to make them come and get it. All right. So, I mean, I don't have much left, but I have one of my son's woodworking tools. And I mean, like big grinders and things. I don't even know what they are in my garage. And the fella just graduated from university, I guess a year and a half ago now, and he's in an apartment in the town where he went to university. And of course, he has nowhere to put this grinder, but he wants the grinder. So I'm like, like what am I going to do? I don't want to pay for storage for this thing, or make him pay for storage, but it might get to that, right? Right now, I can house it, but
Well, if he has to pay for it, he might change his mind about how much he wants to have it. If he has to pay for
exactly,
storage, right? I think
exactly.
the biggest emotional barrier is that I would never want my son to feel that his story or his journey is unwanted or unwelcomed, right? Like
So
if
how is
like,
his stuff, his journey?
well, is he's so it's a two-sided coin, because on one hand, the kids wanted everything fresh and everything new for their place, which is lovely, but that means they left it kind of all here, right? And but if I were not moving, honestly, I wouldn't mind them. It depends within reason, right? Like you said, if it is something huge and you need the space, that's a different story. But uh, I have a hard time saying, "Hey, you know what? Come get your things," because it should always be their home, right? Like in my case, I'm moving, but I don't know. I'm a
Well,
softie when it
eh,
comes to by now when it comes to my
I'm gonna
son, it's like
I'm gonna
you know
boycott
is
because
yeah.
their stuff isn't the journey, right? Like the journey's in our heart. I mean, take a picture of it. Hey, remember, here's your hockey bag. Remember that
Remember when you play the guitar? Here's a picture. The guitar is gone.
that's right. And the challenge is we've become, and most people, I mean, like almost everyone who's a parent and still has the family home, it
Yeah.
becomes a storage locker for their kids, right? And it's only when, like you, that you're doing a significant right sizing that, hey, we're down to the wire here. All right, come and get your stuff, or maybe I can sell it for you and give you a few shekels, or right, or because you, Carolina, and
Mhm.
everyone else has to pay a human to move that stuff from the basement to the curb or to the donation center or to the dump, wherever it's going, right? So there's a real cost to having
Waste
excess.
people. I don't. I'm embargoing the word dump.
I keep forgetting you don't like that word. It's just
I
so easy to
don't.
say.
Words
Don't.
matter. Words matter. But you know what? So circling, landing the plane.
Land the
Um,
plane.
I do appreciate the guidance. I think anybody that is thinking of selling, whether it's now or a year from now or 2 years from now, I think the longer you've lived in a house, the more really you need to start, especially if you're, in your prime, and get ready for the next adventure. It's been it has not been overwhelming. It's been a lot of work, but most things that are worth it are a lot of work. But it has not been overwhelming, which to me, doing how much we do and overwhelming is like kryptonite. Like if I'm overwhelmed, like it's a domino effect, right? So to be able to come out of March unscathed, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your team. And to the staging lady, thank you. And I'm so sorry that I gave you such a hard time, but I'm sure the pictures will be lovely. And we continue the saga. Now we move on to the next phase, and again, being managed by John and Renee. I'm confident. I'm confident that it'll go better, and I'm also in a better mindset. It'll go better than last time, for sure.
We're going to land this plane. Let me just say that. Now, why don't you wrap up and land the plane on this episode?
Absolutely. And so thank you everyone for joining us. It's spring, so definitely do your decluttering and right sizing exercises guided by Renee. Make sure you connect. We'll put all the links below. And remember, subscribe to our magazine, join our LinkedIn group, join our newsletter. We're close to 1,500 subscribers to our newsletter that we started just a few weeks ago. So we're really, really appreciative and excited. And we have our incredible event coming up September 12th, and we'll put all that information for you to be an early bird and join us. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, thank you, Renee.
See you then. Thank you.